Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another boring episode of Larry's World. Today, we're going to do a little bit of story time. We're going to travel back to my boot camp days. I'm going to tell a story from boot camp because I figured why not. This one's kind of funny, and I kind of got a pre-warning about this before I went. So, my godfather is a Marine, and we were over at his house one day, me and my dad, and we were talking to him, and he's like, while you're there, don't ever ask to make an emergency head call. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. I kind of understand that. You don't want to say emergency. And he told me a story about a time when he was in boot camp, one of the recruits asked to make an emergency head call, and the drill instructors were all, "Yeah, right, bitch. If it was an emergency, there'd be flashing lights, and somebody'd be screaming." So they made this guy run around with flashlights, flicking them on and off, and made him run around the whole platoon's barracks for like hours, screaming like a siren, flipping these lights on and off. I laughed. I'm like, that's pretty funny. What kind of stuff is that? So fast forward to, I don't know how many weeks in I was at the time, but my platoon's at the Recruit PX, which is the recruit store where we buy supplies that we need: laundry detergent, razors, the whole 9 yards, all that stuff. So there's 100 of us. I think there was 104 or so at the time. And we're all in there, piled in. People were coming out as people were going in. Well, we had a guy, last name Ross. He was our platoon clown, the funny guy. Always doing stuff to try to get the drill instructors to laugh, to get us to laugh. He was an absolute good time the whole way through the 13 weeks. So I'm inside at the time, and I had already seen Ross ahead of me. Well, next thing I know, he comes barreling back in, and he's like, "Hey, I need another moonbeam and batteries." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man." I grab one, I hand it to him. Somebody else hands him batteries. He runs up, pays for it, and he goes back outside. I get up to the cashier, whatever, I pay, I go outside. They're all screaming, yelling, telling us to go over here, whatever. Well, apparently what had happened in the midst between all that, because when I went outside, Ross was getting destroyed. They had him over on the side, took his blouse off, emptied his pockets, and they are just IT-ing the dog shit out of him. Push-ups, mountain climbers, whatever you can imagine, they got him doing this, while all of us were trying to get all of our stuff together and get into where we need to go. So I go outside, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, then somebody was like, "Oh, Ross asked to make an emergency head call." And during this time, he asked one drill instructor the first time, and that was our kill hat, Sergeant Destano. So Sergeant Destano screams at him, "Yeah, right, bitch. If it was a fucking emergency, there'd be flashing red and blue lights, and I'd hear fucking sirens. Aye, sir." And that's whenever he went running back into the PX to go get another moonbeam, because Ross had full intention of running back outside with one moonbeam in one hand, another one in another hand, two different colored lights, flicking them on and off, and screaming like a siren, "Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo." And that's exactly what he did. Well, when he come back inside, the drill instructor switched. Staff Sergeant Dorval, who was inside the PX, went outside. Sergeant Destano, who was outside, went inside. So when Ross come flying back out the PX, flicking those things on and off, screaming like a siren, Staff Sergeant Dorval was outside. And he was absolutely hysterical. So he goes flying out, and Staff Sergeant Dorval just covered down over his face because he's laughing and he's not supposed to show it. And he just tells Ross to take his shit off and starts ITing him. I could not believe that actually happened because I was pre-warned about it ahead of time. So meanwhile, Ross has to shit like no other. He is about to shit his pants. And they know it. So they're fucking with him at this point, telling him he could go to the head and then calling him back. And then telling him he could go to the head and then calling him back. Well, eventually he got close enough, they told him to go, and when they told him to get back, he didn't get back. He ran in there, freaking locked the door, dropped trowel, and just started shitting because he had to shit bad. They're over there shaking it. You know, at this point, they're laughing because it's just, you can't do anything but laugh. We're all trying to hide our laughs because it's fucking hysterical. So, that's just one of many funny stories from boot camp days. But, yeah, that's just shit that you hear of and you're like, nah, there's no way. But, yeah, that happened. So, yeah, I figured I'd give you a little story from my time in the Marine Corps, which is probably why my hair is so damn gray. But, yeah, if you got any stories, share them with me in the comments. I'd like to hear some funny stories, maybe of a time when you were in or a friend that you know was in and told you about, because who doesn't enjoy a great boot camp story? Relive some of the best times of your life. But yeah, leave me a comment, hit the like button, share this, hit subscribe, see if we can get more people to start joining in on some conversation on some of these videos. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.